What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Johnny K Picks, where I break down the fights for the upcoming UFC event. This week we have another pay-per-view. It's UFC 268, Usman versus Covington. As always, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. And don't forget to turn on those notifications so you don't miss out on any of my content. Also, be on the lookout for my bets video that I'll post later this week, where I break down the bets that I make for UFC 268. Okay, so before I get into my picks for UFC 268, I'm going to quickly recap the picks that I made for UFC 267. So overall, on the night, I went 6-1. I picked Ribas by decision, Ankalaev, Chimaev by submission, Volkov, and Jan correctly. The only little blip that I had, and I'm sure a lot of people did as well, I picked Blachowicz to win, and Glover Teixeira came out swinging, and he wanted this belt more than Jan did. I will say, though, I am a little shocked that he did win. I didn't see this one coming, but I'm going to give him all the credit in the world. He went out there, he fought his game plan, he took Jan down, and that's what he needed to do if he wanted to win. And he eventually got the submission. And to do that at the age of 42, I mean, that's just super impressive. I think he's the second oldest fighter to hold a championship belt, so that's pretty good. So Blachowicz, to me though, he didn't seem like he was his normal self. I'm not sure if he was thinking a little too much about not getting taken down or what, but he looked a little off to me. In the second round, he did start to look like himself a little bit, but once Glover started to take him down, he just tapped immediately once Glover got on his back, and that was an early night for him. So what are you gonna do? And a few other noteworthy wins from UFC 267 was Chimaev. Yeah, that guy is just a monster. I'm guessing he's going to work his way up the welterweight rankings first instead of middleweight. So if I was in the welterweight division, I would not want to face this guy. I do think he should definitely be in the top 15 now, maybe even top 10. He needs to start facing some top guys in that division, because these lower level, I don't want to say trash cans, but trash cans that he's fighting, yeah, they had no chance. And I'm not saying Lee was a trash can, but Chimaev made Lee look like a trash can. That's how good he is. Another noteworthy win was Ankalaev. He looked really good. His striking was great. He's going to be another problem in the light heavyweight division, so it'd be interesting to see who he fights next in that division. And my favorite fight of the night is Piotr Jan wins against Corey Sandhagen. Awesome fight. I loved how Jan came back in the second, third, and fourth rounds, and he just looked super crisp. His boxing is amazing. His kicks are awesome. I'm excited to see him fight Sterling, and it's going to be a really good fight, and I do think Jan's going to win that fight, though. All right, so enough fanboying here. Let's get to my picks for UFC 268, Usman versus Covington. Okay, so the first fight I'm going to break down is Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Vera. Edgar is 24-9-1, 40 years old, 5'6" with a 68-inch reach. And Vera is 19-7-1, 28 years old, 5'8" with a 70.5-inch reach. So to kick off the main card, we have this awesome matchup. Both fighters are on different paths in their career right now. And with that, I'm going to say that Vera's going to win this one. Edgar averages 3.70 strikes per minute with a 39% accuracy versus Vera's 3.91 strikes per minute and a 50% accuracy. Defense-wise, Edgar absorbs 2.71 strikes per minute with a 66% defense versus Vera's 4.08 strikes absorbed with a 51% defense. So in the striking department, I do think Vera has the edge. He's just a little bit more unpredictable. Edgar likes to rely mainly on his boxing. He doesn't really throw too many kicks, but Vera is more of a Muay Thai guy. He does like his elbows and low kicks, and he does do some knees as well in the clinch. So I'm going to give him the edge in this one. But if this fight does get to the mat, I will give Edgar the edge. Edgar averages 2.28 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 31% takedown accuracy. And Vera's takedown defense is only 69%. So for me, if Edgar wants to win this fight, he's going to have to get Vera to the mat. But here's the weird thing about Edgar. In his last 7 fights, he's only taken down his opponents 4 times. So I'm not exactly sure why he's shying away from his wrestling, because early in his career, he was known to be the wrestler type guy and just take you down, ground and pound, or try to get the submission. So to me, that's a little alarming. I'm not sure if he just doesn't have the gas tank anymore. And as much of a warrior Edgar has been in his career, I just think he has a lot of miles on him, and I'm not exactly sure how much he has left in the tank for this fight. And especially earlier this year when Edgar fought Sandhagen and that brutal flying knockout, I'm just not sure if he's going to be the same old Freddie Edgar. Eventually, I think Vera's going to wear him down throughout the whole fight. And I don't think there's going to be a finish. I think Edgar's going to push his way through to finish the fight at least. So with my pick here, I'm going to say Vera wins this one by decision. Okay, so moving on up the card now, we have Shane Burgos versus Billy Quarantillo. Burgos is 13-3, 30 years old, 5'11" with a 75.5 inch reach. And Billy Q is 16-3, 32 years old, 5'10" with a 70 inch reach. So for me, this is going to be a very fun fight to watch. Both fighters are very entertaining, and this is a very interesting matchup for both guys. I am going to say that Burgos is going to win this one, but I am a little worried. Both fighters are super high volume guys. Burgos averages 7.29 strikes per minute with a 49% accuracy versus Billy Q's 7.08 strikes per minute with a 64% accuracy. I will say Burgos is mainly a boxer. He doesn't really throw too many kicks, but his boxing is really technical and really crisp. He throws a lot of body shots, and I like his style a lot. And Billy Q's striking is a little bit more unorthodox. He does like to throw elbows. He does push forward a lot, but he'll keep you guessing. So Burgos is going to have to watch out for a couple different things for him. But this is where I'm a little worried. The striking defense department here. Burgos absorbs 6.11 strikes per minute with a 58% defense versus Billy Q's 4.33 strikes absorbed with a 43% defense. So right there you can see that Burgos does absorb more punches than Billy, but Billy Q's defense isn't that great. He is a little hittable. He doesn't really move his head too much, so if he doesn't move his head against Burgos, he's gonna get his head taken off. If the fight does get to the mat, I'm gonna give Billy Q the clear advantage. I don't think I've ever seen Burgos on the ground, and if he did get taken down, he does get up right away. Billy averages 1.66 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 34% takedown accuracy, but Burgos's takedown defense is 89%. So like I said, he's really good at stuffing the takedowns, and I don't think Billy Q's takedown offense is amazing by any means. He can get people down, but he's not like a typical wrestler where he's going to get you down immediately and stay on top. But I will say this, and this is actually the real reason why I'm scared of picking Burgos, is in his last fight where he fought Barboza, he got brutally KO'd. And it seemed like it was a delayed KO because he got punched really hard, and then maybe 2 or 3 seconds later, he felt it and he just fell down randomly. And it was a little scary actually. And it's only been about 5 months since that fight. So I'm not exactly sure if he's coming back a little too quickly or not. Like I said, I do think Burgos is going to win this fight. I do think he's the better striker, but that knockout is going to be in the back of my head, and I'm not sure if that's going to play a part in this fight or not. But with that being said, I am going to say that Burgos holds on. I think he's going to win by decision. All right, so the next fight we have is Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler. Gaethje is 22-3, 32 years old, 5'11" with a 70-inch reach. And Chandler is 22-6, 35 years old, 5'8" with a 71.5-inch reach. So this fight is going to be a banger for however long it lasts. But with my pick, I'm going to pick Gaethje wins here. Gaethje averages 7.46 strikes per minute with a 59% accuracy versus Chandler's 4.49 strikes per minute and a 50% accuracy. And in the defense department, Gaethje absorbs 7.99 strikes per minute with a 55% defense versus Chandler's 3.87 strikes absorbed and a 49% defense. So right there, Gaethje's defense is a little concerning. You never want to see a fighter absorb more punches than he throws. But I will say that Gaethje's a gamer. He doesn't go down easy. He doesn't really get knocked out that often. And I really think that's how he likes to fight. He loves slugfest. So, but I will say he's going to have to be a little careful because Chandler is very explosive and very powerful. He can knock him out. If you remember in the Dan Hooker fight, he just exploded in front of Dan Hooker and knocked him on his chin, and Dan Hooker went down, and that was it. I don't think this fight's gonna go to the mat at all, but if it does, Gaethje does have a 69% takedown defense, and although he doesn't have a takedown in the UFC yet, he does have a wrestling background, which has always confused me because I don't understand why he doesn't use any of his wrestling. But Chandler does average 2.03 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 41% takedown accuracy, and he also has a 71% takedown defense. But as I said, I do think this fight's going to play out on its feet. I think they're going to try to strike with one another, and eventually I do think that Gaethje is going to knock out Chandler. If you remember in the Oliveira fight, Chandler did look a little chinny, and Charles isn't much of a KO guy. He's more of a submission threat. So Gaethje's a way better striker, I believe, and he has way more power in his hands. So I'm a little worried about Chandler's chin, which is why I'm going to say that Gaethje's going to win this fight by knockout. All right, guys, so we have co-main event time, and this fight is my fight of the night. We have Rose Namajunas versus Weili Zhang. Rose comes in at 10-4, 29 years old, 5'5" with a 65-inch reach. And Weili comes in at 21-2, 32 years old, 5'4" with a 63-inch reach. So I'm going to be a little honest here. I am a little shocked that they are already running this rematch back. I'm sure many people thought that Rose's kick was fluky, but if you look back at that fight, I really thought she set up that kick and she timed it perfectly, and that's what happened. Knocked her out. But nevertheless, the first time they fought, I did pick Weili to win this one, but I learned my lesson. Thug Rose is going to win this fight. Rose averages 4.13 strikes per minute with a 40% accuracy versus Weili's 6.36 strikes per minute with a 45% accuracy. And striking defense, Rose absorbs 3.99 strikes absorbed with a 60% defense versus Weili's 4.42 strikes absorbed and a 53% defense. So from those stats, it looks like Weili throws more volume than Rose, but honestly, I feel like Rose is the better striker. She's the more technical striker. She does have good jabs and straights. She doesn't have a lot of wasted movement in her strikes. She moves left and right a lot. It's going to be a problem for Weili again here. But Rose is going to have to be careful because she's going to have to pick her spots, because if Weili lands one or two punches cleanly, it could be a short night for Rose. So the thing that does worry me a bit is the grappling department. Weili averages a little over 1 takedown per 15 minutes with a 23% accuracy, which may not seem too great, but Rose's takedown defense is only 50%. So she's not the greatest at stuffing the takedowns, but if she is on the mat, she can hold her own. She does have pretty good BJJ. And another thing that kind of worries me is I guess Weili is training with Henry Cejudo right now. So I'm sure everybody knows how amazing Cejudo is at wrestling. If she does work on her wrestling with Henry, that could be a problem. But with all that being said, I do think this fight's gonna mainly take place on its feet. If Weili does get in trouble, I think she will go to her wrestling. And as much as I want this fight to end the way it did, the first one did, I don't think it's going to happen like that. I do think this is going to go the distance. But I think Rose and her striking is going to be too much for Weili. So I'm going to say Rose is going to win this by decision. All right, so main event time here. Before I get into my prediction, go ahead and do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button for me. Okay, so we have Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. Usman is 19-1, 34 years old, 6 foot with a 76-inch reach. And Covington is 16-2, 33 years old, 5'11" with a 72-inch reach. So I don't know about you guys, but I am super pumped for this fight as well. These two guys have been chirping back and forth for the longest time. They're bitter rivals. And honestly, after this fight, whoever wins, I don't see this rivalry ending anytime soon. Usman is averaging 4.63 strikes per minute with a 54% accuracy versus Colby's 4.12 strikes per minute with a 38% accuracy. So since the last time these two fought, Usman's striking has improved tremendously. Usman has knocked out 3 of his last 4 opponents, and he's not known as a knockout guy whatsoever. He's mainly was known for just being a decision machine, but as I said, he's improved his striking tremendously, and I've been super impressed with it. Striking defense, both fighters are very similar, so I'm not going to get too much into that, but in the grappling department, there's a couple things that we're going to look at here. Usman averages 3.17 takedowns per 15 minutes with a 48% takedown accuracy versus Colby's 4.61 takedowns per 15 minutes and a 50% takedown accuracy. So both fighters like to use their takedowns, but as I said earlier, Usman has been striking a little bit more than taking down his opponents, and I'm not sure if that's just their game plans is to stay on the feet and to not take him down. But what I will say is Usman's takedown defense is 100%. So Colby's gonna have to try really, really hard to get Usman on the ground. And I don't know if that's going to be such a good thing for Colby. And I'll be honest, I really just don't see a path to victory for Colby unless something fluky happens. I think Usman is definitely the better striker. I do think he's the better wrestler as well. And if by some chance he does get taken down by Colby, I think he's going to be able to keep it safe and eventually get back up on his feet. And as much as I would like for Usman to knock out Colby Covington, and I'm sure a lot of other people would as well, I think this fight is going to go all 5 rounds, and with my pick here, I'm going to say Usman wins by decision. Alright guys, so there we have it. Those are my picks for UFC 268, Usman versus Covington. On your way out, go ahead and smash that like and subscribe button for me. Also, if you would like my prediction for any other fight on UFC 268 that I didn't cover in this video, go ahead and comment below the fight, and I'll go ahead and reply to your comment, my prediction. Hey, what can I say? I'm a man of the people. And be sure to be on the lookout for my bets video that's going to be coming out later this week. I hope everybody enjoys UFC 268, and happy fight night.